My name is Daniel Reznik, and this is the Getting Out of the Way podcast, where we will be integrating the psychedelic experience. Did you take a photo of yourself before you drank ayahuasca?
No.
Okay. Just checking.
I should have.
Just
I came
checking.
out all messed up. Am I allowed to curse? No cursing?
You can do whatever you want, man.
Okay. Because there were a lot of curse words going around ayahuasca night. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yes.
That is amazing.
Except for, what are they called? The guy who's wearing the headpiece that came from Argentina.
The shaman.
Shaman. Except for the shaman and his relative, the female that was, he calmed me, but she riled me up. It was so negative. And I'm like, this is so toxic. And I'm like, this is so not me. It scared me, you know, that all this was coming out. And I'm like, why won't he just shut the fuck up? Noise was bothering me. And I said, I don't want to do this again. There's too many people, too many different noises. I'm like, quiet. I go, do they always have to vomit? Like, wah, wah, just vomit. It's like they're retching out their whole lungs and life. Like, wah. Meanwhile, I don't know. I was just going off on everybody. I was very uncomfortable there. I was like, you want to go home. You don't want to stay here. You want to, like, there was this black thing inside me that was like, are we recording? Should we start from the beginning?
No, you keep talking. Keep going. Okay.
I'm just talking all over the place. I'm not going in chronological order.
We don't want to. I don't want to, rehash the whole experience. Okay. I think you're spot on where you need to be. Have you ever met your ego so up close and personal?
So if that's my ego, I don't like my ego. My ego is extremely toxic and mean.
Yes. Very good.
Very mean.
Very good.
Oh my God.
How else would you see it?
So if that's my ego, then the first time that I took a trip,
yep,
it was very quick, because I remember saying there was something black and gooey that started to fill the room that I was in, and then I couldn't clean it up fast enough, and then we were moving on to something else. I didn't stick with that particular scene. I want to say it lasted all of 5 seconds, if we were going to put an increment of time to it, 5 seconds. But at the ayahuasca ceremony, I was in it, never left it. It just was constantly there, took on an entity. At first, it was just a ball of blackness in my stomach. And then it seemed to like spread out a little bit. So it's no longer a ball. It just seems to be like liquid filling in my belly. And then at one point, when the shaman started chanting, it almost seemed like it was a dragon that was sleeping and reared its head up like this. And it was like, what the hell is going on?
Right.
And they're like, what is that? And it didn't like it at all.
Right.
And it started to get rumpled.
Yes.
And it's like, we need to go. And it's like, you don't like it here. You're on the ground. And it's telling me everything that made me uncomfortable.
Right. Negative self-talk.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, in my mind's eye, I kept seeing my couch. It's like, you want to be on the couch. You want your blanket. You want to ride this out at home, where it's quiet and nobody's bothering you. That's what you want to do. Get up, let's go. You don't have to stay here. And I was like, I came with other people. It's okay, we could call Uber. It was giving me all sorts of reasons why I shouldn't stay. So then I'm thinking, okay, I need to stay. If it's saying not to stay, I don't trust this voice. It sounds like me, but I didn't trust it, because I didn't trust it. It got very nervous around the chanting, and it was upset, and my spirit felt rumpled. So I was like, okay, I can't trust this voice. And then the woman started chanting, and it was over. It went ballistic. It was like, get the F up now. Let's go. And I said, no, that means I need to stay. And then the most toxicity just came out of me. I started hearing other people, and it's like, shut that person up. Everybody got called out of their names. Everybody was all sorts of bitches and assholes and motherfuckers. And it was horrible. Like, it scared me. If anything, she was causing, the female that was chanting, female shaman, I guess. She was the one that was causing whatever was inside me, that toxicity, to roil up. I just got that she's trying to help. And whatever this is good, because it needs to come out. So I kept hearing purge, purge, purge. I need a purge. I need a purge. And I'm like, but it's too soon. I don't want to purge right now, because I think I need to hold on and wait because it's too soon. We just started. And,
Isn't that a creative thing for the ego to say?
you
Because
know,
if you're purging that stuff that doesn't belong inside of you. So it's whispering in your ear saying, don't purge me up.
right. So I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I would be purging it up or if I would be purging medicine up. I didn't know. But then I started seeing memories like of you're going to purge. Remember, you're going to purge. And when they have a meeting before and they're like, you're going to purge. So purge. And all of that started coming to my head that I need a purge. And I was like, but should I? And it's like, no, hold on to it. Why would you want to purge now? You just started. You're going to lose the medicine if you purge now. So I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know
Very
what to
creative
do.
ego.
And then I'm thinking, wait, maybe I need to do the opposite of what the voice is telling me to do. But then I'm like, who's talking to me now? Is it me or is it this thing? I don't know. And then the woman started chanting and it got royally pissed. And then it was like, wait, wait, wait. And it calmed down a little bit and it was holding on to see what was happening. Like I felt like it was like, what's going on? And then it's like, oh, we're good. I'm hearing we need more voices. We need more sound. That's what I got. We need more sound. We need more voices. As I'm talking to you, I'm hearing vibrations. We need more vibrations, but that's not what I heard. When I was in the ceremony, I just heard you need more sound, more voices. And the thing inside was just like, oh, this isn't going to bother us. Okay. And it just settled down. And I was like, oh, no, this isn't good. I don't want it to be comfortable. I need it to be upset and wanting to get the hell out. So that means that it's not bothered by this. And I'm like, I got disappointed. And I'm thinking, gosh, how am I going to get this thing out of me? So then I was like, I'm by this heat, this fire is too hot. I started thinking I need to be cold so I can freeze it and break it up. And I'm like, how am I going to get it out of me if it's frozen and I shatter it? It's like, take the axe and shatter it. And I was like, but how do I do that? How do I get to it? And how would I get it out? And it was like, I don't care. Shit it out, puke it out. Just, it needs to come out. And I just got sad. And I was like, I feel like this is what's causing all the blocks in my life, all the negativity in my life, things that make me feel like I can't move forward. And it just got comfortable. And it's like, oh, this isn't gonna get me out of here. So we're good. And it went back to sleep. And I was like, oh man, what am I gonna do? So then I just started praying and I said, I need help. I need help. I actually thought about you, Danny. I was like, I need Danny. I said, okay, they're not here. They're not here, chick. Okay, pray. We need to get help. This needs to come out. So I just started to pray and I said, look, I'm here for a reason. I need to know what my blocks are. I want whatever it is preventing me from moving forward in life. I need to know what it is and have it be gone. That's it. And that's all. I just kept concentrating on that. And then I started seeing things. I was getting messages, but I'm angry the whole time, though. I'm still angry. That toxicity is still there. I'm hating everybody around. And it was reminding me, you remember when you were pregnant, the sounds and smells bothered you? Yeah. They're like, something's wrong with you. And I was like, something's wrong with me? Yes. Why would somebody be bothered by noise? Why is somebody bothered by smell? There's something wrong with you. You're defected. And I'm like, I'm defected? I don't think I'm defected. And I was like, I don't think I like this voice. I'm like, you're toxic.
Right.
So anyways, then I started thinking about my kid and what I need to do to improve. This is after I prayed, right? This is after I prayed. And I'm like, I need help. This thing doesn't want to leave. I need help. So I'm getting messages, but none of it is comforting me. It's all things that I'm doing wrong in life. And it's showing me what I need to do to correct, something to foster a better relationship with my kid, showing me things that I never noticed before that he might be suffering and I should, talk to him, hug him more, give him more love, So that came up. And then I'm like, but what's wrong with me? What's preventing me from moving forward? What are my blocks? And then I looked around and I'm in me, but I felt disconnected from the scene that I was in. And the scene was the belly of a slave ship. And I see slaves chained together and we're in rough waters and it's dark, and the retching that I'm hearing in real time is retching that I'm hearing in the scene as well. And I'm like, ah, oh, this is awful. People are throwing up, they're defecating around themselves, they're scared. Thank God I didn't connect to any of that energy. I didn't feel it. It's hard to explain. It's like I knew these feelings were around me, but there was a block that was preventing me from feeling, because I was already feeling toxic as is. And then to add fear and anger and despair, all of that I think would have done me in. And perhaps that was my protection. I felt like I was in a bubble, but I was in it. And I felt like, I don't want to say sad, but I kind of felt sad, but nothing else. And I'm looking around, I'm like, this is awful. And then in the next scene, I see myself outside the ship looking at what was happening. And what was happening at the time were, I don't know why the white men were anxious, but they needed to get slaves off the boat. So they were just throwing them in the water, all chained together. And I saw 5 people chained, just, they were forced to, one person, the first person was forced to jump off the boat, and it dragged the rest of them down, and they were screaming. And I was off the boat floating, just watching it, and there was an entity next to me. And I feel like that entity was keeping me calm. It felt benevolent. It didn't feel like it was malicious or anything like that. And I tried to walk away from the scene, but it kept drawing me back. And it's weird because in other trips that I've taken before, nothing to do with the ceremony, I've been shown and I felt like I was royal. You know, I was in a better place where I'm adorned in lots of gold, you know, and it's a long, long, long time ago. But I feel like, you know, I'm talking about times of pharaohs and, you know, queens. And I've always had people around me that I felt like were there to protect or to serve. And this time I felt like I was a slave. And I'm thinking to myself now, like afterwards, you know, when I got time away and I'm processing, I was thinking maybe that could be a block where one minute, you know, you're living a life or you're feeling like you're royal and you can do anything, you're all powerful. And then you're brought down to a life where it's not your own.
It's the exact opposite
It's
of
the exact
being raw,
opposite,
right?
right? And instead of feeling powerful, you feel
Powerless.
right. You feel powerless, angry,
Mm.
and you're bitter, and you're frustrated, and you're sad, and that's what I feel sometimes.
Yes.
And I'm like, where's this coming from? Because I have a wonderful life, honestly. Even the worst of times, things always work out for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know, sometimes I get like that and I get somber, and I'm wondering if this is the reason why. You know, maybe this is a past life that I envision. Who knows? I don't know. But whatever it is, I said, show me blocks, and that's what I saw. And I kept repeating, show me the block, show me the block, show me the block. What's stopping me from moving forward? What is it? Is it and I wouldn't say I'm a fearful person, but I saw and heard the word fear. Fear, 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 spelt out black with the words in white, the letters in white. And I heard it, fear, fear, fear. And I'm like, I'm not a fearful person. So, but they're like, yes, you are. Yes, you are, you know? So that was something. So it's nothing, there was nothing easy. No messages that made me feel happy. It was all like, you're a fearful person. You possibly went through this horrible life, you know, where you were mistreated and you didn't have power. You're unsuccessful. You think you're successful, but you're not. You could be doing more. This isn't where you want to be. You're a horrible mother. You're a horrible partner. So now I'm like, where is this coming? And you're a horrible person.
So it's been said that doctors study medicine, healers study shadow.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes. So how do we know, right? How do we deal with parts of us that we're unwilling to see? we can't deal with it. So the first step is to dredge it up, to
Right.
become aware of it. Once I become aware of it and it rises to a surface level, now it's closer to finally passing. And so what the shaman does with their chants and their whistles, they're really, what they're doing is they're snake charming. They're snake charming our ego up and waking it up, so to speak, and compelling it to come up.
Oh my
And
gosh.
as they compel it to come up, then it could finally pass, but it can't pass if it's kind of lurking in the depths, right? And we're holding it down, so to speak. So they have these tools and these practices that get it to really rise up. Once it rises up, it could culminate in a purge, and purging can happen in many ways. It's not just vomit,
Right.
but ultimately they're bringing all our stuff up, and the medicine is doing that. And so it's showing us what we're holding on to. And the reason we say, no, that's not me, is because we're unconscious of it. It is me. It's just, in this back pocket, let's say, that I don't really kind of mess with. And so we're walking around thinking, oh, I'm free, I'm clear, I'm good. And it's like, oh, you want to see? You want to check under the hood? So here, take this medicine and we'll see if we're really good. It's like a true up test, like a
Yeah.
truth serum. And so through this process, we get to see that, oh my gosh, I'm really holding on to some dark shit here. And once I become aware that I'm holding on to the darkness, now I can learn from it and let it go. But if it doesn't come up, I'm not aware.
Right.
There's no way I could take the next step. And so to say that, healers study shadow is really a powerful encapsulating statement. Through this self-discovery and observation of what's lurking inside in a really kind of meaningful, unflinching way, we can reconcile what's going on inside of us. We can let go of everything that doesn't serve us anymore and become lighter in that process, right? That's enlightenment, this word that's thrown around, right? It's
Right.
practically speaking, it's becoming lighter. To become lighter, I have to let go of the weight that I'm carrying, but I can't let it go if I'm unaware. And so the first step is awareness. It's like, look at what you're holding on to. It's okay. Accept that it's what you're holding on to. Because in acceptance, you give it space to pass. But if you're rejecting it, all you're doing is pushing it back down inside of you, inside of us. And that's the last thing we want to do when we recognize there's, let's say, this black liquid that could be harmful to our health. The last place I want it is inside my system. So I want to get it out. There are many ways to do that. And purging, sure, is one of them within ceremony. Sure, but it's not the only one. So I wouldn't beat myself up because I went into ceremony, became aware of my darkness, my shadow that I'm holding on to, because I thought that was my only opportunity to purge it. I didn't purge it. So, oh man, now I'm screwed. That's not the case. Now that I'm aware of it, it has no choice to come out and no choice but to come out. And so all I need to do is give it various pathways to do that, meaning don't hold it down anymore, accept it, be okay with it, and then you can purge it out in dance. You could purge it out in singing. You could purge it out in any expression, self-expression, any creative art. You can purge it out in a sauna. You could purge it out in a cold plunge. You could purge it out in yoga, in meditation, in exercise. You can literally, it'll come out because it's not restricted anymore. It's no longer lurking in the depths of being where I can't see it. Now, since I'm aware of it, you're going to see many opportunities will present themselves within your path to allow you release. But you have to be able to see it that way.
Right.
Meaning you have to recognize, okay, there is something inside of me and I'm going to go through life. And I know life is going to give me all of these gateways to purge it out. So now I'm on the lookout. Now I'm on the lookout for every little discomfort. And instead of running from the discomfort, I'm going to lean into the discomfort because I know there's something in me that's uncomfortable by this man singing or that man belching. And that lack of acceptance as to what is going on precludes me from stepping into my power. It's only when I accept it and I say, hey, you know what? That's happening, but it doesn't have to bother me. and it's okay, and it's the rightful way of the universe doing whatever it needs to do right now, and I have no control over it. I have no context over why it's happening, but I know it's God doing his thing for all the right reasons, and I just need to accept it all. And so once I come to accept those very things that make me uncomfortable, I'm literally unlocking that aspect of me, which is feeling uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, just being aware of what we're holding on to brings it to the surface. And now, as I walk through life, I'm going to look for every little opportunity because I know the universe is sending me one after another, all of these means and methods to get free of what I'm holding on to. It's just important to bring that to the forefront of the mind, that that is the process that's going on right now. And before you know it, you're going to see all of these ways to get right, all of these ways to heal and get well by purging that black liquid that I know is inside of me. And it could happen in very subtle ways. It could happen in profound ways. It could happen in ways that I don't even understand.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm on the lookout, it's like I'm playing the game as a detective. I'm seeing everything as a possible clue. Instead of walking into a room and thinking, that, this is just kind of mundane stuff and I don't need to pay attention to it, I switch my kind of perspective a little bit for the detective hat that I now find myself wearing, saying that, hey, there are no accidents in this room. Actually, everything here is a little clue, and everything here is designed to help me let go of that stuff that I'm holding on to. When you shift your perspective ever so slightly, you'll see all of it is designed for you to get well, to let go of what you're holding on to. But you never would be able to get to that point if you weren't aware you were holding it in the first place. So what a beautiful ceremony that it brought all this stuff up that you weren't even aware of. Now it's like, oh shit, this is me. But I don't have to hold on to it. And I can let go of it, in essence, let going of me, the false me, the aspects of me that are blocking my higher self from manifesting.
Okay.
And then it becomes a blessing. And then it's like, holy shit. When I look back on this experience, given some greater context, maybe after a week or a month or after I finally purge it all, I'll see that, wow, that experience, which I thought was perhaps a negative one, quote unquote, brought me closer to this moment where I finally purged it. So that was actually a crazy blessing. And I can't see it as such just because I don't have context, because I'm over focusing on that immediate moment. Whereas I'm not there anymore.
Yeah.
Here I am, right here, right now. And right now I could be brand spanking new. But to be brand new, what do I have to do? I have to let go of the old me.
Right.
And so that's what the universe is doing. It's throwing all of these opportunities at us to let go of the old self. All the stuff that doesn't belong, that keeps me from, quote unquote, enlightenment, from realizing my true power, my true light, from becoming the healer that I'm going to be. And so this experience that you had is leverage for you to wedge yourself out of that darkness.
That's when I spent several hours going over my experience the next day.
Mm-hmm.
I got that message, but it was very light.
Didn't hit, right?
No, it's like, no, you hated this, but this is
You hated it for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a springboard
Yes.
into a better you. Don't
Yes.
worry. And I was like, no, this was so awful. How is this a springboard? It's like, don't worry. I kept hearing, don't worry, it's okay. You'll see.
Right.
This is helpful. And I was nervous because I did purge. I eventually purged. It surprised me.
Yes.
I purged. But I didn't purge enough.
Right. I was about to say there's more to go.
Yeah, I surely did not purge enough. And I was sad because I'm like, okay, now that I purged, I want to keep purging,
Right.
but I couldn't.
Right.
Or I wouldn't.
That's just expectation and judgment, and that's more ego, and that's how
Yeah.
we know there's more to go.
So I was like, now I feel like I didn't do enough.
Yes.
So now I'm like, oh my gosh, do I have to do another one? This was brutal. I don't want to do this again, but I need to get the rest of this out. But thank God you just told me that I can purge in many different ways.
Right.
So now I feel I feel relieved. Trust me, because for now, I think I'm gonna give ayahuasca a break. I'm not running to the next one so quickly.
Yeah, don't worry. She'll come and tap you on the shoulder when you're ready. I promise you.
Let me tell you, it's interesting because when I was listening to the male chanting, he brought me calm and peace.
Uh-huh.
But when I listened to the female chanting, she was stirring shit up and I
Right.
was just getting riled up and angry and the
Right.
black thing inside me would roil and start bubbling and churning.
Yes.
And I'm like,
She was doing a
what
good
the
job.
hell is she saying? I go, what is she saying? I don't know what she's saying, but whatever it is she's saying, it's pissing this thing off, you know?
Right. So our job is not to bottle it back up, because then we might need a little help
yeah.
releasing that seal again. And that might be ayahuasca. That might be, something a little more intense than some of the other subtle arts. So as long as we don't bottle back up, you could imagine that purge that you did was just the unbottling. It wasn't the actual purge.
No,
it was
know.
taking off the bottle top. And so what happens if you have a bottle of carbonated water? As soon as you pop the top, it rushes to the surface, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you leave it alone long enough, it becomes still water because all the carbonation, right, gets released.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? And so that's the process. So basically, you had the opportunity to have the bottle top popped. And now all that carbonation is going to rush to the surface through everything that you do. Everything is going to be an opportunity to leave the top of the bottle open. Mm-hmm. But if I start to get caught up in judgment, if I start to run away from, let's say, discomfort, if I start to not embrace some of the lessons that I got, especially as the ones that you pointed to with your son, if I don't hear that message, all I'm going to do without integrating is put the bottle top back on, saying, I'm not comfortable with all this stuff coming up. And as soon as you put the bottle top back on, the carbonation is trapped. It has nowhere to go again. Right. And then it's going to fester. And that's the last thing I want to do. And so to keep the bottle top open, we just have to lean into life and accept those aspects of life that we might deem to be inappropriate or uncomfortable. In doing so, the bottle top remains off the bottle and all the carbonation gets to rise, and we will subtly purge each and every little bubble pop at a time through all of the means and methods that we have accessible to us, which we mentioned some of them before. These are all tools to work with to help kind of expedite the process if one could ever do that. And so that's where our work starts. It's very easy to put the cap back on, but to walk with life with open eyes and the desire to get well, so to speak, we're able to use everything that's thrown at us in this existence as positive leverage to keep that bottle top off and to let the water run still. Acceptance is the name of the game. Acceptance is really the name of the game.